thanks for everybody coming out here. We do refer to this as the closing ceremonies, but certainly the rally isn't done and our town never closes. So we always welcome you here. We invite you here to Sturgis 365 days a year. But this isn't always an exciting time where the city, after a lot of hard hours and blood, sweat, and tears, we get to kind of wrap it up as a staff within the organization on events. Of course, our public works and our first responders never get a rest. So that's why we wanted to honor them here today. Not only do they make the rally great, they make our town great 365 days a year. So first up is we have first responders. Proclamation, whereas individuals, both career and volunteer, including law enforcement personnel, emergency operators and dispatchers, firefighters, ambulance and hospital and medical staff, search and rescue personnel, and many others serve the public as first responders in the event of emergency. And whereas first responders are vital members of our community, protecting our neighbors and loved ones from existing threats and remaining vigilant against new threats that may emerge. Whereas despite the challenges and dangers they face on the job every day, first responders put themselves in the line of fire, sometimes literally, for others they barely know. First responders are never self-centered and they put others before themselves. And whereas the families of first responders also make significant sacrifices to support their loved one's service. These family members live with the reality that their spouse, sibling, parent, or loved one may not return home from the job, and they deserve our appreciation and respect for bearing this burden. And whereas the city of Sturgis, South Dakota recognizes the significant work and sacrifice of our first responders and their families, and we are especially grateful for their service to keep our community safe. Now, therefore, I, Mark Karstensen, the Mayor of the City of Sturgis, do hereby proudly proclaim Saturday, August 12, 2023 as First Responders Day. With that being said, we have the privilege and pleasure to honor a couple of first responders that have served this community for a very long time and made Sturgis what it is today. So with that, we have both Ron Merwin and Tom Trigg that we're going to honor today. We have plaques and I have proclamations for them. It took some teeth pulling just to have them write anything about themselves. They're humble folks, and they're like, no, I don't need to say anything. It's too hard to talk about myself. But we did put some great stuff together here with their help. First up, we have Ron Merwin Day. Whereas Ron Merwin grew up in Sturgis, graduated from Sturgis Brown High School, and began his law enforcement career in 1982 as a reserve police officer at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. And whereas in March of 1984, Ron was hired by the city of Sturgis as a full-time police officer. And whereas in 1991, Ron began his career with the Meade County Sheriff's Office as sheriff and attended the National Sheriff's Institute New Sheriff Training in Longmont, Colorado. And whereas Ron's tenure of 32 years as sheriff was the longest serving sheriff in Meade County, crediting the people he worked with over the years for his longevity in office. And whereas Ron was the president of the South Dakota Sheriff's Association in 2000 and served in the South Dakota National Guard for 12 years. And whereas Ron and his wife Becky have been married for 45 years and have 11 children, 14 grandchildren, and presently reside in Piedmont. Now, therefore, I, Mark Karstensen, the Mayor of the City of Sturgis, do hereby proudly proclaim Saturday, August 12, 2023 as Ron Merwin Day. Ron says no speech, which isn't a surprise. Let's honor Tom here, Tom Trigg Day. Whereas Tom Trigg is a native of Sturgis, graduated from Sturgis High School in 1969 and attending Black Hills State University. And whereas Tom joined the Sturgis Volunteer Fire Department in 1978, serving on the board of directors as an assistant fire chief and retiring as fire chief in 2008. And whereas Tom was also an instructor for the South Dakota Fire Service. And whereas Tom was a South Dakota certified fire instructor and emergency medical technician, a member of the Black Hills Fire Advisory Board, and was mentored many who had made this fire service their career. And whereas Tom was involved in all of the major wildland project fires through the Black Hills during his career, And whereas Tom retired from Fort Meade Fire Department after 31 years of service in 2004, and whereas Tom and his wife Julie raise cattle in the Sturgis area, now therefore, I, Mark Carstensen, Mayor of the City of Sturgis, do hereby proudly proclaim Saturday, August 12, 2023 as Tom Trade Day. Tom also passed on speaking. It's not surprising. Next up, we have Mark Schmidt, who is the president of the Sturgis and Lee Deadwood Monument Hospitals, and he said he's going to say a few words, so Mark's willing to speak. Let's welcome Mark Schmidt up.
Thanks, Mayor Mark. First off, good morning, and thanks everyone for joining us. And like Mark said, I'm here representing Monument Health. And I'm really the lucky one to be here and recognize our first responders, because each and every day I do witness what they do. From our firefighters to our emergency medical services, our ambulance teams, and our law enforcement. So before I go into my words, I'd like to say and ask if anyone who is a first responder, please stand up. If you're standing up, please wave. Let's recognize who you are and give you all a round of applause. Thank you. You know, the Sturgis Rally really highlights the dedication our first responders have for service and hospitality. I ask any one of them, and they will share they enjoy what they do and want everyone to be safe and enjoy the rally experience. You know, they teach you when you're young, you call 911 an emergency and help arrives. But we know it takes a coordinated team to be at the ready and to be there when you need them. These folks show each and every day from the moment the call comes in that they are ready. They respond to calls for natural disasters, violent incidents, or requests for an ambulance after an injury or an accident. Our community and this rally thrives because of the heroics of those who run towards danger when most of us would run away. The facts tell us it takes a special kind of person to care for others when you don't have to. These folks rise to the occasion every time they walk through that door at work. I can't imagine what goes through their heads when the call comes in, but I am sure what they say is, I'm ready to help, and how can I do the best in that moment? So you can say all of us at one time owes our lives at some point to first responders for taking the call to serve. We can express our gratitude in one way and many ways, the importance of their work and their selflessness and their dedication. We are grateful for taking yourself away from your family, from your home, to serve others. We are grateful for putting yourself at risk and making those personal sacrifices, again, to help others. We are grateful for you representing the best in all of us by helping those who are vulnerable and in need. And we are grateful for you being that beacon of light and that hope in tough times. And we all pray that your strength never fails. So for us, when you see a first responder, give them a wave of appreciation. Our community would be much different without them, and we know that. And again, thank you for coming. Thank you to our first responders, and I can't help but saying, be safe so you can meet us at events, not on the road. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Mark. Let's have Mark give a nice round of applause and all the first responders for their service and sacrifice. All right, now, when you're here at Harley Davidson Rally Point all week long, you probably noticed that amazingly beautiful street light that's sitting right over there, right? It is being raffled off by the Sturgis PAL, the Police Athletic League. Now, you may not know, we may or may not know this about the Police Athletic League in Sturgis. Sturgis is the only National Police Athletic League chapter in the state of South Dakota. There you go. Founded in 2016, its mission is to better build youth than adults. So build up the kids, that way you don't have to have the adult. Youth programs, boxing, hiking, mountain biking. They have Cops and Kids Christmas program as well, it's a shopping program, very, very popular in it. And they partner with Sturgis Brown High School for youth leadership teams and organizations. So I'd like to now introduce Chief Vanderwater to do the drawing for, oh, he's looking at me. Are you doing the drawing? Okay, Mayor Mark Arches is going to be doing the drawing. So Chief's just here to oversee it. Thank goodness for that. For the drawing for that beautiful streak line that people purchase raffle tickets.
Thank you. I'm going to say a couple words. First off, I'd like to again recognize our heroes, Ron Berwin and Tom Trigg. I had the pleasure the last 18 years working side by side with them. I'd also like to thank all the first responders that are here in the audience and those that couldn't make it today due to their sacrifices. So, I want to give a shout out to some of my staff, my wife, my volunteers that sat out here all week trying to sell the tickets. One thing we did is we sold every single ticket, which was 1,500. So they brought it today, and they did a heck of a job this week. So I'm not going to delay this much longer. We're going to draw. I'm going to have the mayor draw for us just to keep the integrity of the program. So this year's winner of the motorcycle is Sparky. Not sure where he's from, but we're going to try to give him a call, see if the answer's here. Is this Sparky?
Yeah.
Sparky, this is Jody with the Sturgis Police Department, our Sturgis Police Athletic League. You bought a raffle ticket this week while you're in Sturgis, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, calling to inform you you're lucky winner for the motorcycle.
I am?
Yep, you sure are. Are you here in Sturgis still?
No, I'm already
Where's home at?
Wisconsin, over by Ellsworth.
Wisconsin, okay. Well, we will call you if you stand by here a second. We'll figure out a way to get you in contact and get you your motorcycle. So give me a minute and I'll continue on. Thanks again for everybody that donated this program. Like I said, we raised the funds. It's going to go back into the youth of our community for our boxing, our mountain biking, and our Thompson Kids program. So I appreciate everybody that bought tickets, and we'll see you next time.
So as D-Ray stated, our pals is the only one in the state of South Dakota. So a normal day in the life of our chief here in the city of Sturgis is he's our chief of police. He's a member of our transition team as we're currently operating without a city manager. And he also makes time to make all the pals work and everything else. So big round of applause for Chief and his staff and all that they do for our town. I wanted to mention our sponsors for this year's rally. Again, as we have these closing ceremonies, it's certainly not the end of the rally, it's just the end of what we do up here as a city on the stage. But I wanted one more chance to acknowledge these sponsors for for the 2023 official sponsors list. Amsoil Inc., Anheuser-Busch and Quality Brands of the Black Hills, Black Hills Central Reservations, Brown Forman Corporation and Jack Daniels, Coca-Cola Bottling Company, High Country, Dixon Flannel Company, Harley Davidson Motor Company, the Home Slice Group and the Fox 100.3, Mecca Auctions, Motorcycle Industry Council Inc., and the Ride With Us Moto Intro, Patch Stop Road Shows, Progressive American Flat Track, Rockford Fosgate, Rosenbauer America, Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys, Rumble On and Ride Now Power Sports, the South Dakota Beef Industry Council, and Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. So much appreciated the partnerships we have and the return to our community with that. Rosenbauer headed out and left us here yesterday, so they wanted this statement read here. Rosenbauer America would like to extend their heartfelt gratitude to all first responders and congratulate those honored today. Rosenbauer America, saving lives, protecting property. So certainly hand in hand with the people we're honoring here today as a group. So last thing I'd like to mention here is our Grand Marshal for the 83rd Motorcycle Rally, Laura Clock. It's been a great partnership. She definitely engaged, definitely made the rally a better place, and it's wonderful to work with you, and it was a we got some good things done and more to come in the future. So thanks for all you did. At this point in time, we have our last thing to do for this event. And what it is we look forward to next year's rally. Some of the intellectual property that the city owns is annual marks. Of course, the 83rd was, as everybody's seen, but as the 84th is now closer than it's ever been, we have a unique approach to this year's. We actually put it out and for a contestant to submit artwork, and where we landed with which piece of art we're going with, we're gonna display that today, and let me give a little bit of information here. The 84th logo contestant winner who is here with us today is Morgan Bauer. She is from Bismarck, North Dakota. She's just 22 years old. Will be a first grade teacher this fall in Steele, North Dakota. She took art classes in high school, likes to do pencil drawings, came to the rally for the first time last year. When she thinks of Sturgis, she thinks the ride, the roar, the rally. Congratulations, Morgan. Come on up. Big shock, she doesn't want to talk. But we are going to reveal this, so stay up here, Morgan. Stand by your artwork. So I'm going to get out of the way, and we're getting better at this, but hopefully our apparatus works and we can take a look at next year's annual mark together. So
3, 2, 1.
Seen that a lot. We're going to be seeing you next August for the 84th Rally. Thank you very much for joining us here for our closing ceremony.